I did it, everyone. I am a certified Metroid Prime 4 demo player. None of you can take that away from me. This is the best day of my life, and then some. Actually, the best day of my life will come on December 4th, 2025, but that doesn't matter because I have officially played Metroid Prime 4 Beyond at a GameStop near me. Let's go! But in all seriousness, if you didn't know by now, there are Metroid Prime 4 demos playable at certain retailers, namely Target, Walmart, and GameStop. Target and Walmart seem to be the ones talked about the most, but the only one I could find in my area was a GameStop about 15 minutes away. They didn't have the whole Switch 2 kiosk set up, so there's a TV, but they did have the Switch 2 playable in handheld mode, so that was the best I could do. I went to a Target that had the TV set up and everything, but no Metroid Prime 4 demo, so I'm just like, come on, Target, get with the program here. But anyway, when I found out from my friend and channel member Eric, he told me on Twitter that there was a Metroid Prime 4 demo available at the Walmart or Target, wherever he was, and that's what made me call around to see which store near me had a playable demo. But the only store I could rely on was the GameStop, where I also got to play Donkey Kong Bonanza. That seems to be the only store in my area that has the updated Switch 2 demos, only in handheld mode though, so I'm playing these games, I'm just bent over, like I do raise them up as high as I can, but still not the most ideal experience. But the best scenario is the one where I get to play this game, whether I'm bent over, hunched over, or what have you. But anyway, I'm going to go over my thoughts on the game, the demo specifically, my hands-on impressions. Thrilled I get to give you my hands-on impressions for this game. I am going to repeat information that's not exactly new. This is just like my first time playing this game, so you're going to hear my thoughts on the air dash, you're going to hear my thoughts on the aiming of this game, because it's quite interesting, I will say. But all I know is that when I started up that demo, it was such like a surreal feeling. You got to understand, I've been waiting for this game for such a long time. Yes, it's been 18 years since Metroid Prime 3, but for me the wait really began when Prime 4 was revealed in 2017. I thought we were going to play that game in the next couple of years at that point, but no, 8 freaking years, 8.5 freaking years I've been waiting for this game. I spent 7 years not even knowing what the game looked like, so this was like an unreal experience for me, finally being able to play this game in my hands on a Nintendo Switch 2. And I watched that cutscene that played with Samus flying her ship, you know, Revenge of the Sith style. I got to hear all the sound effects I couldn't hear from the Nintendo Treehouse because of the commentary that was playing over it. In fact, I'm going to show you the Treehouse footage when talking about this game, because I didn't get any footage of my own while playing it, but you know, it's footage you've already seen before. It's nothing that mind-blowing at this point. And even though I didn't see it at 4K 60 FPS, I still got to see it at 1080p. Looks great on that Switch 2 screen. And when the camera zooms into Samus's helmet and we get to see her perspective, I did just sit there for a few seconds. I sat there thinking to myself, okay, this is it. This is like the moment I have been waiting for such a long time, and I'm about to do it. Okay, here we go. And then I started playing, and it was great. I wouldn't say it was the most emotional experience for me. It still kind of was, but it's just like, I'm not at my house, I'm not playing it on my TV, I'm at a GameStop playing it on a kiosk. Like, this isn't the most ideal experience. The biggest true moment for me is when I boot that game up on my Switch 2 on my big 75-inch TV. That's going to be like the, oh wow, we've made it, we're finally here. But still, being able to play this game was already a moment in and of itself. And you know, the first thing I noticed right away is that this game plays like Metroid Prime. Unsurprisingly, I had just recently played Metroid Prime Remastered, and the controls feel very similar in the aiming and the shooting, the way the gun behaves, the power can, the power beam plays exactly the same as you'd expect it to. The only thing that's different are the button layouts. Every time I wanted to scan something, my instincts just went to pressing right on the D-pad, but no, you press X to scan things now to open up the scan visor, which is a very new change. And what another change I found interesting is that pressing the L button, like the left bumper, also jumps, like along with the B button. Both of those act as a jump button, which is not something I heard was a thing. I'm sure this is common knowledge at this point, but to me, that was a surprise to have both of those buttons be jump. And you know, the A button is also shoot, so that's not just the only 2 buttons that share a function. So that's really interesting. You know, it's like Dying Light. I believe that button for jump is also the left bumper. So I guess they're kind of making it so if you don't want to use your right hand to jump, you want to use that to shoot and do other things, then you can use the left bumper. I keep calling it left bumper. It's the L button, but you know, I always call the shoulder buttons the bumpers, like from the Xbox 360 days, you know? Anyway, what an interesting decision there. I'm fighting these space pirates, and you know, they're not super tough. It's the very beginning of the game, so you expect them to go down in like 2 hits or less, 2 charge beam hits, I should specify. And the game starts you off generously with 30 missiles. This time you're gonna lose them right away, but you know, you get 30 missiles at the beginning. And the boost ball is here too. The boost ball, you start off with that function, which I was not aware of at first, but yeah, we're gonna lose that anyway, along with the morph ball bombs. You're gonna lose just about everything when you get to the planet Vuros, so there's that. What I really wanted to do was like check out the stuff I couldn't see in the treehouse footage, the stuff that not even like some demos have shown really. I went into the graphics options first to see if I could change the graphics settings, which I could on this demo. I'm pretty sure this demo had access to most of the options. I didn't check for myself, but here I could switch between quality mode, which is 60 FPS, or at least in handheld mode it's 1080p 60 FPS, but then I changed its performance mode at 720p 120 FPS. I didn't switch to it for too long because I didn't want like the visual quality of the game to be like compromised fully on the Switch 2, because 720p, you can definitely tell the difference between a 1080 and 720 game on a Switch 2 screen, and it was smooth as heck. I feel like it was a little bit blurry, like with the motion blur. Sometimes that happens when you raise up the frame rate like that. I don't feel Prime 4 is necessarily a game that greatly benefits from 120 FPS. That's mainly reserved for like fast-paced online shooters, I feel like, and as we know, Prime 4 does not have a multiplayer mode, but it's still great to have that option there, and I'm sure like that's something that, I don't know if Retro Studios pitched or if that's something Nintendo pitched to show off the capabilities of the Switch 2, but still, it's a nice option to have. A lot of people really love having 120 FPS over 60, so it's, once again, great to have that selection there. Again, didn't play with it too much though. And I also wanted to experiment with the sounds, like because the treehouse footage, the sound's really muffled, it's low because there's people talking over it, because it's a treehouse, they're demonstrating the game itself. I wanted to hear stuff, I wanted to hear what Samus sounded like when she got hit by stuff. So I even wanted to see the death screen, the mission failure screen, to see if it's nearly as traumatizing as the ones from the original Metroid Prime games. And sadly, it's not that traumatic. It's just Samus yelling no. Well, I do like that element actually. I don't even know if she's yelling no, if she's just going ah or whatever. That's my grade A voice acting for you. But then the screen just, it's not like the screen like turns off like it's a CRT television or something. Instead, the screen just quickly fades to black, and then all you hear is Samus's death scream, which is different from the Prime trilogy. I don't even know if it's Jennifer Hale voicing it this time. Did she even voice that death scream originally? I need to look up, because I know 2 different actors kind of used her vocals for this. I need to look into that more. But if anyone in the comments wants to let me know, please do. But still, the death scream, that was cool, but then it just goes into mission failure, and there's like I don't know how to describe it. You see like her armor, and there's like a red target over where her heart is, which I guess implies like her heart stopped. Nothing too crazy. But I'm not going to judge this game based on its death scream. It's just something I wanted to see for myself, hear what Samus sounds like more. She definitely has some new grunts in there. Whether they're from Jennifer Hale or not, I'm not sure. They're probably thinking, why would we hire Jennifer Hale to do this if she's not even going to be talking in the game? We don't know for sure if she's going to talk in the game yet, but we'll see when the game comes out next week. Yeah, it's coming out next week. What a timeline we're living in. And it's crazy that I even got to play this game. It's just so surreal to me. The part of me still doesn't even believe that I just played it. And, you know, but going back to the demo itself, it is a little hard to talk about like anything was new, because none of it was new. And that was kind of like a part of the demo experience that kind of made it feel a little less exciting, was the fact that even though I got my hands on with it for the first time, this was everything I have seen before. I was playing playing stuff I had already seen before from the Nintendo Treehouse footage, which I've watched multiple times to, you know, make videos on and such. It's very combat heavy, this demo, which, you know, isn't going to be really indicative of the final game, which is going to be a lot more exploration. There's still going to be a lot of shooting enemies, of course, but exploration is the key element of a Metroid Prime game, and there's not really any of that in this demo. But still, from what I got to play, it felt really good. It felt very similar to a Metroid Prime game as expected, with a couple of key differences, one being the dash ability, which is just replacing the sidestep ability. I think that's what it was called from the Metroid Prime trilogy. Now she just like visibly does like a dash move. Like, yeah, she's been jumping really fast from side to side in the original Metroid Prime games, but now it's just a straight up dash. It's not as like effective as something from Doom Eternal. Like, it's not a super far dash or anything, and you can do it in the air, but you don't have that much air control. It's still a cool feature to have, like dashing back and forth, which is new to me. I don't remember Samus being able to do that in the Prime trilogy. I just played it, so I should remember. But yeah, like, it's easy. It's cool to see that she has some more speed to her game, you know? And I've also noticed that the morph ball like transition, it feels way different. Like, I think it's because when she gets out of the morph ball, like, you have way more control over her like left, right, and up and down movements. I don't remember her having much of that in the Prime trilogy. She just would stand there sometimes or just run forward and nothing else. And also, it's way quicker now. I say way quicker, maybe not way quicker, but it is noticeably quicker going between morph ball and regular Metroid. Metroid can't crawl regular Samus, especially in that boss battle where she has to use the morph ball to dodge that beam, because poor Metroid can't crouch, you know what they say. But one thing that I kind of had a problem with in this demo, and I'm pretty sure it's just because it was a kiosk demo, this is going to be way better when I actually get the game in my hands at home, is like the free aim while using lock-on. It's a very heavily advertised feature we saw in the Nintendo Treehouse. It's similar to how it happened in Metroid Prime 3, where even though you locked onto an enemy, you can still aim around them with the Wii Remote. That's very much the case here, like either using gyro controls or even just the right stick and the mouse controls, which I was not able to try out for this demo because, well, it was a handheld demo kiosk. I wasn't going to be able to do that. No kiosk was able to demonstrate the mouse controls, I don't think. But anyway, it was a bit weird, like, using this method because the right stick doesn't really move as fast as I want it to when I'm locked onto an enemy or a target and I'm just shooting the door targets around it or shooting the boss's weak points. It just wasn't very quick, wasn't very intuitive. If only I had gyro controls, which I did in handheld mode, but they didn't work very well in that demo setting. I just felt like it was awkward and clumsy because, you know, you have the screen, and when you're tilting it, it affects your vision, right? But I know this is going to be something that isn't a problem when I have this game at home and I'm playing it with my Switch 2 Pro controller and I'm using the gyro function that way. And even if you don't have access to gyro, there is that right stick, which again, not ideal. I always use gyro when I can, but here it's going to be much better with the gyro functions. And as for mouse mode, again, I didn't get to try it, but I'm also thinking, like, I don't know if I'm even going to want to try it because my gaming setup is not like ideal for mouse mode. The only surface I have in front of me is my coffee table, which I have to hunch over and use, or I use my lap, which is also just not ideal because it's not a flat surface. Anyway, I'm definitely going to be prioritizing using the controller when I can instead of like a mouse mode or even the motion aiming from like Metroid Prime 3. Like, I think that's an option here to use it like that, but I'm just going to use the Pro controller itself. And yeah, the standard controls, as someone who's played it, they work very well. They're solid. The button changes will take a little bit of getting used to as a veteran Metroid Prime player. Like, I'm going to have to get used to pressing X to open the scan visor. So some interesting changes here. Maybe I'll finally map some functions to the back buttons on the Switch 2 Pro controller for once. I haven't done that yet, so that's going to be fun and interesting in and of itself. But yes, this demo I really liked it a lot. Like, it was, of course, it was very familiar to me, having seen the Nintendo Treehouse footage numerous times. It wasn't anything like I found particularly mind-blowing. I did shoot at some Federation troopers, now that I think about it, just to see what they would do. They don't do anything. They don't die. They don't, like, get mad at you. Nothing. There's no turret that comes out saying, please put your weapon down, because, you know, they're in the middle of a war zone. But still, it was a fun demo. I'm glad I got to play it. I played it mainly once, and then I checked it out again for a brief second to try out the performance mode a bit more, but I knew that when it was done the first time I wasn't going to try it again, because once again it is something I've already seen before, and now something I've already played before, and now I'm just waiting to play this game. It's coming out very soon here. It is going to be very soon. Like, I'm American, I got Thanksgiving coming up this Thursday, and then a week later the game is out, so needless to say, I know what I'm going to be thankful for come Thanksgiving. So thank you to GameStop for having that kiosk demo. The GameStop near me, I say near me, but it's like one of the furthest ones away. The ways I will go to travel to play Metroid Prime 4, I'll probably cut off at like 30 minutes or so, but even still, I did travel a considerable distance, maybe not that far, to play Prime 4, and it was worth it, and I'm very excited to play the game. I mean, a lot of you are watching this, well, a lot of you who know me at least are watching this thinking, of course he loved what he played. He's a Metroid fanboy, of course he was going to love it. So, yep, there is that, and I don't know what else to say except get excited for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. It's coming out so very soon here, and I cannot wait to play the full game on my big ol' 75-inch display. Ooh, we Metroid fans are eating good. And I have other videos planned for later this week. I actually have a Tomb Raider Switch 2 review coming out soon, hopefully by tomorrow at least. I know it's not exactly Metroid related. That game has Metroidvania elements though, so stay tuned for that. And I also have a big video coming out on Thursday, so I'm very excited for you all to check it out, assuming everything goes to plan. You know, I'm a busy guy, and you know, sometimes I don't get these videos out as fast as I want to, but regardless, I thank you all for watching them anyway, whenever they go up. Also, I just recorded a discussion with Andrus Restart, Rob of Rule of Two Review, and Super Metal Dave talking about how excited we are for Prime 4. That should be going up by tomorrow, Tuesday, at around 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Again, assuming everything goes well with that upload, praying for you, Andrus Restart. But thank you so much for watching my little impressions video on the Metroid Prime 4 demo I got to play. If you've played the demo, let me know what you thought of it in the comment section down below. And in case you didn't know that there was a Prime 4 demo, well, you're welcome. Go look around for it. Go find it. It is definitely worth the playthrough, unless like the nearest Target or retailer near you is about 100 miles away. Maybe don't take that road trip. Just wait until the game comes out next week. But thank you so much for watching. I'd like to thank my beautiful Ferris Wheel members for supporting me and my channel. If you want to become a member to get early access to some of my uploads, well, then click that join button down below. But until next time, bye-bye.